Hey, you guys, we are back again for another story time for my bedroom, you guys. So before we get started, you already know the routine. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and give the video a thumbs up. Share the video if you want to, I don't care. So you guys, Happy New Year's. I think I said in that other video, but Happy New Year's for those that probably weren't on here. Hello to all the new subscribers that I gained this week. I'm super excited. We're starting the New Year's off right. Okay, so this story here and the last video that I put up about the dog that got my job back, I told you guys that I was going to tell a story about my sister. Y'all, Tracy and her antics. It's always, this going to be the Tracy and Barron series, okay? Because she was always doing something. So this right here is the Tracey Saga. Once again, Tracy loved the boys. She loved the boys, honey. So this story, I think Tracy was probably about 16 years old. So if you've been following this whole series of mine of story time for my bedroom, I told you that me and my kid's father used to live across the fence from one another. And I mentioned also that my sister Tracy used to date his brother prior to me and him even linking up years later. So her and him were sneaking around with each other. So if you've been watching the series, you know my parents and them, they were Jehovah Witnesses. They did not allow us to date. We could not have boyfriends. We barely got to the prom, y'all. So did I have a date for the prom? I had a date for the prom. Tracy had a date for the prom. So they loosened up just a little bit. But all throughout our teenage years, we could not go to dances. We couldn't have a boyfriend. We couldn't have anyone calling us on the phones or anything like that. So that made way for us to be sneaky because we were going to just do what we want to do. You know, it is what it is. It's healthy to like boys and girls and all that different stuff. So we was just doing whatever. But Tracy liked to take it to a whole nother level. So here's Tracy sneaking around with this guy, my ex-husband's, my kid's father, but ex-husband's brother. And so this particular day, I don't know how he convinced her to come around to his house. So it was him. He had my ex-husband was his brother, and then he had an older brother. So Tracy takes her little tail around there to his house. Mind you, we live on one street. You go across through the little alleyway, and then you're on the other side of the fence. So she goes in there, but he can't walk her through the living room, you guys. He can't walk her through the living room because they got company over there. So it's like their cousins is over there, their older brother is over there, there's a couple of other guys that's over there, and they're all like camped out sleeping on the floor. This is what it was. Tracy was supposed to probably be at school and she was skipping school. So they were all in the house sleep. You know how guys stay up late and then they're going to sleep till like 12 o'clock, 12 noon, 1 o'clock. So Tracy goes, instead of Tracy walking through the front door, he tells her to come through the window. So they lived on the first floor. And so the windows were on the side of the building. So Tracy climbs her tail through the window. So he locks the bedroom door. They in there doing boom, boom, boom. Use your imagination. I don't want to know, but they were in the room together. So his mom comes home. Now, I think she used to work like third shift or something or other. My ex-husband told me years later she used to work third shift or something like that, or a late shift or something. So she comes home and she decides to knock on his door, his bedroom door, but he wouldn't open the door. And so Tracy and him hear all the rattling and whatever at the door. He's refusing to open up the door. And she hears his brother, his older brother, say, he probably got some girl in there. And so he would not open up that door. So he tells Tracy, go back out the window. So Tracy's sneaking and creeping. Mind you, last video, she was running through the woods and hopping over fences like FloJo Joyner. So now she's a thief in the night, creeping through windows. So she goes out the window. And I guess he must have finally opened the door to his mama. But his mama comes out the front door and see Tracy trying to tiptoe her tail past their front door on the outside to go back down the alleyway to come back home. So she sees Tracy. She knows who Tracy is, and she knows Tracy's parents. So next thing you know, Tracy come hopping, skipping all up in the house because she done got her some boom, 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 y'all. So his mama comes and knocks on the door. Now, mind you, if it's a woman, I feel personally, if it's a woman, a mother, then let the mothers talk. Hey, sis, your daughter is sneaking in my house, blah, blah, blah. But because my daddy was a control freak, he did not give them to the opportunity to talk. And so my father automatically, hey, what's going on? So the woman, my ex-mother-in-law, really didn't want to talk to my dad, Barron. Everybody knew Barron was kind of ballistic. Everybody knew he was just kind of, you know, a tyrant or something. So she really didn't want to talk to her. But my mom was so passive, she wasn't going to jump in front of Barron and say anything. So he heard her out. And so she told on Tracy. She said, your daughter was just around my house, came out my son's room, out the window, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I don't want her. I don't care if her and him are dating, but I don't want her in my home, and I'm not at home. So that's rightfully so or whatever. So I don't know what Barron says or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, we all upstairs. We hear, Tracy, come down here. And I'm like, oh, snap. What is going on? So Tracy take her tail on downstairs. So we in the living room. And I don't know how I got down there being nosy. Being nosy, y'all. So I'm like, what do you want her for? Because normally Tracy didn't do too much anyway. Straight A student, whatever. She didn't do too much. Now, if he was calling me, I know it'd be some mess because I probably did something. But she didn't mention anything to me about what she was doing. Maybe she ain't had no time or she just wasn't going to say nothing about this one. So she goes downstairs and he got the belt. So he got her. So here it is. It is so not funny. So here it is. He's asking her, did you go around to the house? Blah, blah, blah. And so she, of course, tells, I ain't been around there, yada, yada. Well, the mama just came around here and said you came out the house. So she busted. So first she got busted for skipping school. Second, you got busted because you got a boyfriend now. And third, you got busted because you all up in his house and he already know what you doing. So it was the front door, and then there's the living room right there. That's where they were talking, and there was a couch up against the wall, and then there was the kitchen. Remember, I told you in the other video that it's supposed to have been 2 apartments or whatever. So I'm in the kitchen, just kind of peeking and looking. There was a refrigerator down there, so I'm more than likely acting like I'm getting something out the refrigerator, but I'm real live being nosy. So Tracy gets a whooping. So he's swinging his belt. Whop, 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 whop. Some type of way, Tracy, and my mom's standing there. So, and then some type of way, Tracy falls on the couch. Now, mind you, I don't think it's anything funny about somebody getting a whooping at all. I never laughed at my siblings and them getting a whooping. But Tracy's legs was up in the air like a wishbone. Do you remember what a wishbone looks like? Like, I think wishbones come from chickens. Put down in the comments, y'all, where the wishbones come from. Wishbones come from chickens, but you know how the wishbone is like this, and they got the little thing down here. So it's this there. Tracy legs up in the air, honey, like a wishbone. She's screaming and hollering, and he whacking it or whacking it. I'm like, oh my God. Like, sis, I want to help you, but I don't want to get beat. So he's whacking her and whacking her and whacking her. And I don't know how long this man was whacking her. Now, mind you, my dad was like a burly type dude. He was big, but he wasn't like sloppy fat. So he's a kind of burly type dude. He's probably about 6'2" or something like that. So he's whacking her, whacking her, whacking her. And he's whacking her and he's like talking, trash at the same time. I don't know if he got himself like really, really riled up, or his pressure got high, or his heart was palpitating, or he was just exhausted on beating on her mercilessly. He wasn't showing her no mercy, baby. But next thing you know, he kills over, y'all. He falls the frick over on the ground, honey. I said, oh shit, I killed him. So I'm looking at the kitchen like, is he dead? Because he terrorized us so, y'all. He's on the floor. I don't know if he had a mild stroke, a heart attack, heat exhaustion. I don't remember if it was wintertime or not, or if he got too excited, if his anxiety got high. But he fell on the floor, and he didn't like kneel down and fall. He just said kaboot. And y'all, the killer part was why he's still gonna be holding the belt. So you gonna fall over on the floor, but you ain't gonna let that belt go. So he's still holding on to the belt. So by this time, my mother's like, man, I'm like, oh, so now you're talking, huh, Inez? Now you're gonna say something. You didn't say his name like, hey, quit hitting her. First of all, that's not even your child, but that's a whole nother story. Second of all, ain't no man supposed to be hitting on no girl anyways. They got parts in them. Tracy was 16. You could hit him the wrong way and you're stronger. So I have a whole issue with that. So my mom finally speaks up because he falls on the ground. So Tracy's like, whew, thank God. I'm not getting beat on no more. So I don't know who called the ambulance. So I think we may have had a phone, and like sometimes we would have a phone for a minute and then sometimes we just didn't have a phone because we used a pay phone or whatever. So I don't know. We must have had a phone and they're like, call the ambulance or whatever. So we call like 911 or whatever. He's still on the floor, grabbing at his chest, belt still in his hand. Tracy's sitting up on the couch now, legs not like a wishbone, honey. She's sitting on the side of the couch, but she's still crying because you just beat the crap out of me. So before the ambulance, we could hear the ambulance coming, pulling up, and like the sirens and stuff like that. And this is what he says. Now, mind you, remember I told you my mother's nickname is Nail. He's going to try to, he passed her the belt on the, oh God, I wish I could get on this floor, but I'm too tired, y'all. Laying on the floor on his side, talking about Nail, beat her some more. What? Have we not had enough? You, my mother just put the belt to the side or whatever. Your only last dying thought is to continue to beat your stepdaughter? So the paramedics come all in. They're checking his temperature. He's halfway sitting up on the floor. I'm like, oh God, dog, he's still alive. And he's still alive to this day, baby. Evil don't die. Evil lives forever. He gonna outlive all of us, I promise you. Because he's evil. Wait a minute. I don't know why I get so tickled about these stupid stories of Barron and Tracy. So Tracy's still crying. So one of the firefighters comes over to like console her, like he's gonna be okay. Tracy looked at him and said, I'm not worried about him being okay. He gonna beat me when he gets home. So the firefighter just looked like, okay, I don't know what we stepped into. Let's get this man out of here. He's still on the gurney, y'all. I promise you. Neil, don't let her get away with it. And then they just put the mask on his face. I'm like, your last dying breath is to continue the saga of the beating on this girl. Leave it alone, for God's sakes, and take him away and don't bring him back. We don't want him here. The majority rules. My mom probably wants him here, but the majority of us, the kids, take him and don't let him come back. Honey, so Tracy finally got herself together or whatever. They took him on up to the hospital. I don't know what was wrong with that man. I don't know what was wrong with him. I think he got too excited or whatever and just passed out. Like, who beats somebody so that you black out Cause you done got yourself so hyped up. So when he came home, I don't know what day he came home. I just know he came home and he lived with us for many, many, many years after that. And so Tracy didn't get another whooping or whatever. So he just went on, came home. He didn't make too much of a fuss or what have you. He put her on punishment per usual. And that was pretty much it. And all it really did was intensified her level of sneakiness. That's all it did. Instead of sitting down and talking to her and say, hey, look, you're 16, you're beautiful, you all are beautiful. Let me talk to you about dating. Let me talk to you about boys. Let me talk to you about being a young lady, being respectable and not sneaking in somebody's home. You should have walked through the front door and let us meet the parents and, get a relationship with them. And then you meet the mom, you speak to the mom and the whole 9 yards. But he didn't do that. And so when he was so strict on us, it just made us sneaky because you get to the age where you have an interest in boys and it's like, well, I can't go to my parents and tell them how I really feel naturally, just having an attraction to the opposite sex or whatever. That was not a conversation to be had. So it was either fight the feelings of being attracted to a boy or, sneak. And so Tracy just intensified her level of sneakiness after that. She took her punishment, which whatever it was, probably dishes for a week or two or what have you. And he probably monitored her a little bit and she just found other ways to be sneaky after that because that was not the last episode with Tracy, but it is what it is. But honey, when he fell on that floor and he told my mother, look, in a whisper, it was not loud. It was in a whisper because you're panting to get air. Beat her some more now. Man, if you don't go somewhere. I should have kicked him. Now, I should have hit him with the Kool-Aid pitcher. So Tracy tried to kill my daddy. She was going to be the death of that man, honey, with her antics and stuff. But y'all, that's the story of Tracy taking my daddy out. Halfway taking my daddy out, child. That is the story, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go ahead and comment below. Where does a wishbone come from? Is it a turkey? No, it can't be no turkey. We ain't had no. I don't never remember having no turkey. Y'all tell me, where does a wishbone come from? It got to come from some type of bird or something. I done seen it. It may be a chicken. I ain't seen, I don't eat the wings and the thighs now, so I ain't seen a wishbone in forever. But that's what Tracy legs look like, as a wishbone. I think I'm gonna make the thumbnail wishbone. So and put some shoes on the end of it, because Tracy had her shoes on once again. But you guys, thanks for tuning in to Storytime from my bedroom. Thanks for just hanging in here with me, laughing with me, enjoying these crazy stories, going down memory lane, just remembering deliverance from that place. But go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Comment if you want to comment. It doesn't matter. And also, click the bells for notifications. But I'll be loading videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You guys have a great evening. I have another story on Friday. I don't know what I'm going to talk about on Friday. Peace.